Hi guys, it's Christy from Retail Bliss. I'm back with another vlog, and this week's vlog is all about growing your email list. So if you're a reader of this vlog avidly, then you'll know that I'm a huge proponent of growing your email list because it is the number one thing that you own. Instagram, Facebook, all those things, you don't own that data. So at any time, one of those platforms can actually take that data away from you. Without notice, without warning. We've all heard of those nightmare stories of it happening. An email list is really that one-to-one communication where you can totally track from end to end that person's actions from what they click on in your newsletter to what they buy on your website and all the way back again. So I'm a huge fan of email and doing it properly, but in order to do email properly, you really do need to have a bit of a list. You need to have people subscribe to your newsletter and keep them subscribed to your newsletter. So that's what the topic is today, 5 easy ways to increase your list size for your e-commerce store. It's going to kind of go from the easiest options to the hardest options, and I've got 5 of them for you, so let's get started. So the first easy way to grow your list is to create a compelling reason for people to join your list. Now, it's super common. I was building a best practices deck for actually my company Encircled about email pop-ups and email opt-in offers for e-commerce stores. And my team and I did a lot of research, and commonly we found that most stores offer free shipping or percentage off a first order or dollar off to join the email list. And now, while I think those are compelling and obviously have a good conversion rate, I don't know if you're creating the longevity of customer with those types of rates. It's very common for a customer to get the code and then unsubscribe right away from your list, and that's definitely not what you want to happen. You want customers who are opting in to get the content that you're going to be delivering. The caveat to that is if you do have that one chance to deliver amazing content to that customer after they sign up, then you really have to maximize it if you're using a discount or free shipping offer or something like that to get people on your list. So I highly recommend using a value-based opt-in bonus for customers. And I talk about this a lot on my blog, but I do think it makes a difference. If you go over to encircle.co, you can see our opt-in bonus is actually a free printable travel packing list, and not like a crappy one, but a really well-designed and well-thought-out one. So truly put some time and actually some money into your opt-in bonus and make it meaningful to your ideal customer, because that's what's important. So this will take some time to brainstorm some ideas of what might make sense and how you can, as a brand, find the value proposition where you're bringing value to this conversation by creating something that your customer doesn't already have but needs and sees you as the expert in. So this can really range. If you're a jewelry store or silver jewelry store, that's a great example. What could be something that you create? I know my frustration with silver jewelry is often that it tarnishes and I don't know what to do with it. Do I clean it? How do I store it? Like some sort of guide or video for showing you the best ways to store your jewelry without having to spend $1 bazillion on, a jewelry box or cleaning tools and all that kind of stuff. Really try and step into the shoes of your consumer and understand their pain points. And if you don't know, ask them, speak to your customers and ask them what you could teach them and how you could be of value. So that's my first way to grow your list. Build a compelling value opt-in proposition. My second one is to push people from other channels. So we talked about Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You should definitely have a regular post scheduled to go up to invite people to join your list on the regular. I'm talking about weekly. So schedule it into Facebook at the beginning of the month, 4 different posts, 4 different photos with different copy leading to your opt-in post. You really want to do this on a regular basis. On Twitter, it's very common to do this in the profile. So you can put a condensed link of the sign-up form to your MailChimp or whatever provider you're using in the actual description. So that's an option. On Instagram, you can do the same thing, but just replace your profile link on Instagram with your email link and do a post of a photo of something they might get maybe, or something related to the opt-in offer that you're offering. So that's my second way to do email list building for you. The third way, and I was telling you earlier that this is getting harder, but the third way is to create amazing content in your newsletters. So all too often I see entrepreneurs not sending out newsletters. They're afraid to email their list because they don't want to bother them, they don't want to spam them. But what's the point of even having a list if you're not going to talk to them? So number one is to spend the time to talk to them, obviously, and make a regular schedule and stick to it. That's made a huge difference in my business Encircled. Last year, I think, was the first year where we proudly went out every single week with the newsletter on schedule and sometimes more. And that made a big difference in my revenue. Let me tell you, I get a lot of revenue from email and Encircled, and we continue to see that as like one of our top channels of growth. And we put a lot of time and effort and energy. Everything we do actually is centered around the newsletter and content that we're building for the newsletter, blog posts for the newsletter, photo shoots for the newsletter. We really do view it as a value touch point for the customer, and we try not to over promote. I think it's important to promote and to sell, for sure, but you don't want to always be slinging offers at your clients. A bad example of this, a good example of bad example of this is the Gap and Banana Republic. Those brands constantly just hit you with 30, 40, 50% off, and I honestly don't know how you're building long-term sustainable brands with that. You really want to become the value content provider. If you want to go sign up for my newsletter at encircle.co, you can check out some of the value we send out every week. We do a really good job on it, and a lot of it's driven by our blog content. We have guest posters. We write some of the content ourselves. We're always trying to put ourselves into the shoes of the customer and what they would want to see in their inbox. Just think about it. Your customer is getting a bazillion emails a week, and you want to be at the top of that list. And what can you do to make your email the most important? It's not by just putting in your promotions. There's other stuff that you can do. Make it real, make it personal, make it relevant, make it timely, and do it on the regular. So the fourth thing I'm going to recommend for you is to dial up the awareness of how to get your newsletter on your website. So the easy win on here is a pop-up. I know some people really hate pop-ups, but I think if they're mobile friendly, easy to get out of, i.e. you can X out of them really quickly and they don't consistently come up annoyingly on your site, then they can add a lot of value. We recently redid our pop-up in Encircled, and it made a huge difference to our email list. Our email opt-ins increased significantly before when the pop-up was actually broken. Another way you can do this is have an email opt-in in the footer. You can also put it in your key blog posts in the middle or at the bottom of your blog post. You can embed a form. You can put it on different pages that are commonly visited, like your About page or maybe a main collection page. And one thing on your home page is you can actually put it above the fold. And the fold is basically where the page cuts off in the when somebody's viewing it on a typical monitor. So you could put like just a single line opt-in there as well. So just increase the awareness of your email list that it's out there. Combine this with a compelling opt-in and you've got a really winning email list there. So the last way to grow your email list, this is number 5, and I told you it's getting really hard now. So it's to drive more traffic to your site. And if you've read a little bit of it from my blog, I highly recommend you going back and searching for traffic and strategy in the search box at the top of the site, because I do talk a lot about how to build traffic for your site. It's so important. You can't sell stuff to people that aren't there. So just like having a retail store and having foot traffic in the door, just like that as an e-commerce store, you need people actually in your store to be able to sell to them. So building traffic should be your number one focus as a store owner, next to what I talked about last week, which is your conversion rate, and making sure your customer experience is seamless and easy to shop with you. So building traffic, make a plan, start now, and be aggressive about it. Over predict your traffic, and make sure you're actively spending time every day thinking about how to generate more traffic and more sales, and then resultingly you'll see your email list grow. You can also do an opt-in when somebody purchases. A lot of sites like Shopify have this, and somebody just checks the box and then they're automatically added to a MailChimp list. That's a great way to build your list as well. And you can definitely segment your users in MailChimp or whatever email provider you're using to make sure you put them in the right spot and give them the right offers going forward on your list. So those are my 5 tips for growing your email list. I hope you liked this vlog, and if you have any comments, feel free to leave them below. And I'd appreciate it so much if you'd share this out with somebody who would really find value out of this as well. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Bye.